Hello everyone, welcome to the Chemical Safety Technology course. I am your instructor, Suo Yanbo. In this session, we will continue to explore basic fire and explosion prevention measures. In the previous class, we learned about what a substantial condition can lead to fire and explosion disasters and how to eliminate them. In this class, we will continue to study measures to eliminate or control ignition sources. Eliminating or controlling ignition sources primarily involves the following aspects: preventing sparks caused by impact or friction, preventing ignition from high-temperature surfaces, preventing ignition from heat rays or sunlight, preventing electrical fire and explosion accidents, eliminating static electricity sparks, preventing fire and explosion accidents caused by lightning sparks, and preventing open flames. Let us examine each of these in turn. First, preventing sparks caused by impact and friction. Friction in rotating machine parts, collisions between steel objects or between steel and concrete surfaces, and the high-speed ejection of material against container walls during the sudden rupture of pressurized pipes or steel containers can all generate high temperatures or sparks, serving as potential causes of fire and explosion. Appropriate measures must be taken in explosion hazardous areas. For example, entry with spiked shoes is strictly prohibited, and the use of tools and equipment that can generate impact sparks is strictly prohibited. Instead, explosion-proof tools or copper and wooden tools should be used. Additionally, in mechanical equipment, any two parts that may come into contact and cause friction should be made of different metals, such as steel and copper, or steel and aluminum. Explosives workshops should be equipped with non-sparking, flooring, etc. Second, prevent ignition caused by high-temperature surfaces. Heating devices, containers, or pipelines holding high-temperature materials and high-temperature reaction towers in industrial production all have surfaces with high temperatures. Other common high-temperature surfaces include live incandescent light bulbs, rotating parts, heated by mechanical friction, and certain sections of chimneys. If combustible materials come into contact with or remain in close proximity to these high-temperature surfaces for an extended period, they may ignite. Particular attention must be paid to substances with low auto-ignition temperatures. To prevent such fires, high-temperature surfaces should be insulated or thermally shielded, and combustible gas discharge outlets should be located far from high-temperature surfaces. Third, thermal radiation, direct sunlight, as well as light passing through convex lenses, curved glass with bubbles, or uneven glass surfaces can be focused to create high-temperature hotspots capable of igniting combustible materials. Therefore, sun shading measures must be implemented in factories and warehouses where there is a risk of explosion. Examples include painting window and door glass white or using frosted glass. Fourth, preventing electrical fires and explosions. Fires and explosions caused by electrical reasons account for a significant proportion of such incidents. Measures to prevent electrical fires or explosions primarily include removing various flammable and explosive substances from the air to prevent them from forming explosive mixtures with air, avoiding sparks or high temperatures generated by electrical equipment, and improving environmental conditions. Fifth, eliminate static electricity sparks. Static electricity refers to stationary electric charges and is a common phenomenon involving electric charges. Under certain conditions, when two different materials, at least one of which is a dielectric, come into contact and rub against each other, static electricity may be generated and accumulate to form high voltage. If this static energy is discharged in the form of a spark, it may cause fires or explosions. Sixth, prevent fires and explosions caused by lightning sparks. Lightning is a natural phenomenon of electrostatic discharge. The sparks generated by lightning reach temperatures high enough to melt metal and are one of the primary causes of fire and explosion accidents. Accidents involving tank fires caused by lightning strikes are frequently reported both domestically and internationally, and generally result in severe losses. Seventh, prevent open flames. Open flames in production processes primarily refer to flames used for heating, maintenance, and other sources of ignition. When heating combustible materials, open flames should be avoided. Instead, steam, hot water, or other heat carriers should be used for indirect heating. If heating equipment using open flames is absolutely necessary, it must be strictly enclosed, and the equipment should be inspected regularly, with particular attention paid to preventing leaks of combustible materials. Flames used for maintenance primarily refer to welding, cutting, and torch operations. Fires and explosions caused by maintenance-related open flames are relatively common in petrochemical enterprises. Therefore, strict management regulations have generally been established for such operations, and these must be strictly adhered to. In addition, flying sparks from chimneys or sparks from vehicle exhaust pipes can cause combustible gases to deflagrate, so appropriate preventive measures must be taken. Furthermore, it is important to note that fires caused by cigarette butts and matches frequently occur in production areas, and people should remain vigilant to prevent such accidents. In this lesson, we have studied basic fire and explosion prevention measures. Based on the three elements of combustion, these measures primarily involve eliminating the material conditions that lead to fire and explosion hazards, as well as eliminating or controlling ignition sources. That concludes this session. For your homework, please consider the following question. What are the main aspects of eliminating or controlling ignition sources, and how can we prevent them? Alright, that concludes this session. See you next time.